Hello everyone, welcome again. Today we have another interesting offer in the shop, and this time is the tank legend is famous Chinese medium premium tank on tier 8, type 59. Probably everyone heard about this tank, and everyone wants to get this in his collection. And some time ago, long time ago, when it was introduced to the game, there was one of the best, if not the best, medium tank in the game, and it was very expensive. At some point we had the chance to get it for free in one of the events, but there was one of the most difficult events, and not many people managed to get this tank. Even spending gold, that was quite expensive. And today we have tanks like Chimera, like T-44-100, like Pantera, like Progetto, and maybe Type 59 doesn't shine anymore like before, but it's still a very good tank. So today I would like to talk about his parameters a little bit, and then we talk about the offer, and at the end we just conclude if this is a good offer to buy or maybe not to buy. So let's take a look in the shop first. We have two options. First option is Type 59 itself, only Type 59, and for 7,500 of gold, and the other one is Teuton 10,000 of gold for Project 59, which contains Type 59 plus Hybrid 59 Patton. So today we're just talking about the Type 59. So let's talk about this offer. We have Type 59 with garage slot, all equipment slots unlocked, Ding legendary camouflage, and the Charm of Fortune epic avatar. And like I said, altogether costs 7,500 of gold. And as you can see, the Ding camo looks really nice. You can see that designers make fantastic work. That nicely engraved camo for this tank. It looks really good. So probably one of the best, one of the most beautiful tanks. So it looks really nice. About the parameters, let's take a look on the gun. So on Type 59 we had 100mm gun with penetration 181mm and alpha damage 280, which is quite average value for tier 8 medium tank. It's not too low, not too high, is enough. On premium shells we have 241 of penetration with 240 of alpha, and high explosives 50mm of penetration and 350 of alpha. Gun depression we have 7 degrees, which is quite good. Of course it's not 10 degrees like in American tanks, but 7 degrees is good enough for you not to find a flat surface, just to effectively fight your enemies. And the gun elevation 20 degrees. 280 of alpha with 9.4 of reload time. That gives us DPM on 1788 points per minute, which is maybe not impressive DPM. There's few tanks that they have better ones, but better DPM, but it's still like I said, quite average. Aiming time 5.1 is not too bad, and dispersion 0.37 makes this gun, if you use the equipment, that makes this gun quite effective, quite accurate. So like I said, all the gun is quite average and not too weak for a tier 8 tank. Let's take a look on another parameter, which is the speed. And here we have engine power with 520 horsepower and weight 36 tons. And altogether that gives us power to weight ratio on 14.4 horsepower per ton, which is maybe not very impressive. It's quite low actually, but a secret of this tank is in ground resistance, because Type 59 has one of the best ground resistance among the medium tanks on tier 8. Okay, let's talk about the armor profile of Type 59, and you can see all the magic here, because as you can see the armor profile colors are quite dark. And let's start from the hull armor. The upper plate we have 188mm, 190mm, and the lower plate 193, 94, 95 sometimes. So all the frontal plate, frontal armor is quite effective, 187mm. Don't forget, this is tier 8 tank, and for tier 7 and 8 gonna be quite difficult to penetrate all those frontal plates, because the average penetration is about 160, 180 on tier 8, Of course, heavies and tank destroyers, they have higher values, but for medium tanks that we're gonna fight against, that's gonna be quite difficult to penetrate, especially if you wriggle, if you move, you know, if you don't stay in one place, don't let the enemy to aim properly. That could be quite difficult. On the turret, it's even better. We have 224 to 317, 340, 600, and all that turret is well armored and is excellent. You know, the shape of that is nicely angled and is extremely difficult to penetrate. The hatches, we have 188 millimeters again here, and 200, even 190. So both hatches are also quite difficult to penetrate. Only this top, but also it looks brighter, but it have 280 millimeters of penetration. So the frontal armor is very difficult to penetrate. Let's take a look on the side. Here situation looks slightly worse, but not that much. On the turret, you still have a quite effective armor with 199, 240, because all of the shapes, we have a very nicely armored turret. As you can see, on the hull we have 80 millimeters all over the place, and here there is in the middle, just on the bottom of the tank, we have a line with only 30 millimeter of armor. So if you are lucky and you hit here, you can do a lot of damage with high explosive, but do not count on that because it's nicely covered. You know, you have to be extremely lucky to find such a small space here between the wheels. So don't count on this one. 80 millimeter, but it's still 80 millimeters if is enough to easily penetrate with regular shells. So all the hull is quite weak. How about the back? Like most of the tanks, we have 47 millimeters on the back, and here 58, 60, 70 millimeters on the turret. And the back of this tank is quite weak. So how to play this tank? How to maneuver? Of course, you can't stop. You should be in the move all the time, just to make it as much difficult as you can to aim on you for the enemy. And hull down, of course, because like we talk about gun depression 7 degrees. So as you can see, you can show up only the turret, and here we have 240. Even if you show a little bit of the hull armor, you have 240 millimeters, and turret 240, 390. So for tier 7 and 8 is like a fortress. Tier 9 may penetrate it, but also not all of the tanks, and some tanks they may still have a problem to penetrate this armor. And as you can see here, armor performance against tier 7 is all dark, so all the frontal armor is dark. Side, of course, is like we talk about, the hull is quite weak, but the turret is still well armored, and the back like most of the tanks. Pretty much the same on tier 8 and tier 9. Even for tier 9, see, as you can see, it's not so good. The turret is still well armored. Maybe some weak spots on the hatches, and the frontal armor is not that effective like against the lower tiers, but it still should be quite tricky to penetrate. Okay, that was a theory, and now let's talk about the practical way of using this tank on the battlefield. So as you know, we have a quite decent gun mounted on a quite fast platform. The little problem could be the slow starter, but the average speed is quite good, so it's easy to take a quickly take a good position before the enemies and be prepared for a battle. And we have very good armor. At least the turret armor is very strong. So how to play this tank? Well, the best is of course a hull down position that covers all the weak points, all the hull, which is the weakest part of the armor. Of course, you can use your speed, because this tank is quite good for a peekaboo, for a hull down, not very good for side scrapping, because it's quite easily to penetrate, especially when enemies using premium shells. So the best way, if you face the enemy, you know that's you're gonna get penetrated. So the best way is just to get quickly to join, to stick to the enemy, and do not let him to aim on your hull. Just turn your turret towards the enemy, and then bounce the shot. Wriggle the turret and bounce the shot. So that's the best way if you get in a close contact. So that's it, guys. In my opinion, if it's a good offer to buy, I think yes. because the tank is still quite good and effective on the battlefield. It's still quite strong tank, even if we like I said at the beginning, we have quite a lot of different tanks quite well performing on the battlefield. This is still quite good tank, and it's very good moneymaker because the credit factor here on this tank is 179, and probably the highest one on tier 8 is on super patching 190%. So it's still quite good moneymaker. So for 7,500 of gold, like you know, the average price in the premium tanks in the shop, we have 6.5. So I think it's a good deal. Right. So that's it for today. I hope I brought you some useful informations. If you are looking for information about the other tanks, I have few already reviewed on the channel, so you can find something for yourself. I would like to invite everyone for my evening live streams on Tuesday and Thursday 9 o'clock evening, and that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope I'm gonna see you next time. If you like my materials, just subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for incoming materials because they will come very soon. Thanks everyone for coming, and I will see you next time. Take care.